Hello, everyone. I'm Adam with Demiplane. Thank you for joining me for this week's development update and community Q&A session. You can start asking questions now if you would like to do so. All you got to do is go into the Twitch chat and type the word question, and then follow that by the question itself, and our magical Demi bot will collect them, and I will get to as many as I can before the end of our half hour today. Sometimes I go over if we have more. We've got latest updates as always. So this is what we are currently working on. Well, maybe what we have just finished within the last week, or the last time that I did one of these updates, and then what we're currently working on, and then we've got upcoming, which is what is on deck after we kind of clear the table of everything that we're currently working on. And several times that doesn't update or change, but when those changes do come in, we reflect that in that upcoming on deck status. And then today we are giving away a Pathfinder Lost Omens bundle. This is a cornucopia of content. It is so much content, and it is really, really good stuff. You can see on the cover one of my favorite supplements there, the Mwangi Expanse. Is an incredible, incredible book, and that's just one of many that are in this bundle. So you can look for the prompts in chat for that giveaway, and good luck to you. Hopefully you can walk away today with a Lost Omens bundle. All right, let's see what is first. So latest updates in Pathfinder Nexus. We're still in our early access phase as we are hurtling toward the open beta for character tools with Pathfinder. But in case you missed it, we did go live with Agents of Edgewatch. So that was one of the back catalog adventure paths that we had not yet released. And we got that released last week, possibly the end of the week before that. We didn't have a dev update last week, so I'm trying to piece together the timeline here. But we are live with the Agents of Edgewatch adventure path, and you can check that out now. We had many people asking about that one, so it's out there and available for you to check out. We also have some big releases tonight, so this is going to be right around midnight Pacific. Technically comes out tomorrow, but we've got the Gatewalkers finale, which this one is one of my newer favorites. I've really loved the way that Gatewalkers has come together. I think the next time that I run a Pathfinder adventure path, Gatewalkers is a very likely candidate for me. So check that one out. We've got Lost Omens Firebrands. This is a really awesome book. I've enjoyed being able to see it for a while here as we've been working on it. So that one is also going live here tonight at midnight Pacific. And so pre-order those if you haven't. Pick them up tonight. You can start browsing right away. We are also working on the Enmity Cycle that is coming out. I want to say that one's April. I'm really bad with some of these dates, but when the street date is out there, we are going to be ready with the Enmity Cycle, and we've started working on that one. And then for the Character Tools closed alpha, unfortunately, we are not going to have a build today. We are kind of in this in-between status on a few things, and we prioritized being as efficient as we can instead of putting in like a makeshift fix to get a build out today just for the sake of getting a build out, because that would have taken a little bit more time. We're kind of in an unfinished status on a couple of things, and unfortunately those unfinished things are breaking things. So it's like it's crashing the builder because we're not quite done on a couple of things. One of them has to do with shields, one of the updates that we're doing on shields. But we are targeting a build for sure a little later this week. Since the last time we spoke, we got some Ranger class feature updates. We had some weapon trait tweaks. We are starting to get into some of the smaller minutia of things. Minutia sometimes has a negative connotation to it, that it's unimportant. That is by no means the way that I'm using that word. It is the little details that make all of this sing and make all of this an incredibly convenient tool for you you to use. And so these things are very important to us. And so we're combing through, and we started, a few weeks ago, our passes on getting some of those smaller details in place. We're continuing that quest to get all of that done. We are working on mobile and responsive views. You probably have seen an update or two here or there if you've happened to try it out on tablet or mobile. It is certainly not ready for prime time still. So we are still in the disclaimered, hey, this doesn't work anywhere really except for desktop yet. But we are going to be getting some updates on that pretty soon. Let me get my phone out of the way since somebody's buzzing me off here, and I'm sure that's coming through the microphone. And so with that, we've got spell heightening as well. We've got some builder choice context. So again, part of the power of what we're trying to put together here is not only that, hey, you can go through and you can get a character quickly and easily. We do want to be sure that the tools also can provide education where appropriate and context where appropriate, where new players or players who have played a long time but haven't played a particular class or whatever, again, that context is that you will end up seeing everything that you need to see when you're making choices in the builder. So we've got some work going on right now with that. You'll see some of those initial updates in the build that is going out likely Thursday. Vampire Nexus and Avatar Nexus, we haven't had any specific updates for these in a little while, but am just calling out that work is happening on both of these. And the thing that I think is really important to put out there is that the way that we are building this platform, and this is why we call it a platform, is that the work that is going on currently for Pathfinder is work that applies to Vampire and Avatar. So this is really, really important. So it's not that we are going to be working on Pathfinder and we've got to get Pathfinder to 100%, and then we're going to start paying attention to Vampire and Avatar and free league content and publishers we haven't talked about yet, 5e, content, everything else. That's not how this is going to work. We're going to get Pathfinder character tools as they work through to completion. We're talking, depending on which, portions of the builder sheet we're discussing here, it's a little bit more with the builder, for instance. So, 75, 80% of the work that is kind of happening in the framework of what's going on with the builder is going to be applicable to Avatar and Vampire and all the others that we're going to tackle. And it's kind of that last, 25% that we're going to be working in engines to make those things happen. The character sheets, the digital character sheets, are a little bit like, and again, these are just rough cut percentages that I'm just assigning to that right now. But the character sheets might be more in the 50% range that we're going to, be able to carry, about half of what we're doing here with Pathfinder. But that just has to do with what's under the hood and how the framework of the platform works. And so, again, even though we're not providing specific updates, I could say, for instance, with Avatar, that I saw just a few days ago that we have the left sections of the builder defined. We have, playbook choices that are available, that people are able to choose a playbook and see what they need to see. So all of those things are coming together and are being worked on. They're just not in the state that they're pretty enough for me to show you pictures or anything yet, because those are some things that come in later phases. So, work is continuing on the character tools portion of the platform that is, piloting primarily with Pathfinder right now, but we've got work going on with these two other games, as I'm speaking here. And we hope to have more that we can show you that's a little bit prettier before too much longer. Another thing that I wanted to call out is we do have some game compendium updates that are happening. So if you've been using the game compendium, so this is going to be the rule listing, the game mechanic listings out there. So for Pathfinder, spells as an example, for Alien, spacecraft components as an example. So all of these listings that are available in the game compendium. So that's going to be anything under that game rules menu when you go to the various nexuses. anything in there is now going to have a source that is available, so you can see the source for something without having to click too many times to find out where which book that element is coming from. That is available now out there. You can sort by that. You always have been able to filter, but you can see that now on the listing rows. That's out there. We also have added the Pathfinder conditions listing. And so, again, no build today, but a little bit later in the week, this is going to be reflected in our game rules menu. So you'll see changes and updates there. But the conditions listing is available, all the conditions in one place, easy to find what you're looking for there. And then we will have the rules index. We put out some update notes last week. The rules index is there, and it's got some rules in it, but I wanted to be sure to call out that this is still very much work in progress, because the point behind this listing is it is a place where you can go and find we're going to basically be curating different parts of the rules of Pathfinder that maybe give people pause, or people are looking up things about this all the time. So, we have our analytical information about what people are searching for when they go to the search area of Pathfinder Nexus. And as we start to see trending searches appear for things like people are looking for, and I'm just making up something right now, grappling, then those are things that we would absolutely tackle. Get it? Tackle, grapple, that we would tackle as we saw those terms come in. And as those things are coming in, we would probably go and make a rules game element for that would be available in this rules index. And this is just a very quick and easy way to find something that you can go there, start searching on the rules index, and the list is going to filter down for you very quickly. So that is available out there right now. It's just not anywhere close to complete with the amount of rules that are in there. And that's going to be an ever growing thing as new books come out and everything else. We're going to start adding more and more, stuff there. And it's also one of the key components of, we haven't talked much about global search, but global search is something that we know is essential. It is a requirement for us to do really well with search. And we haven't done much work at all with search during early access yet. We kind of put out an initial pass on that. We've been focused on some of these other tools. Search is something that, as character tools get to a good spot, search is something that is going to be a priority for us. And even something like including this rules index is something that is going to start building building blocks for what is going to come with search. So again, all of those pieces are important, and we're starting to put some of that together. So if you see the rules index out there, absolutely you can use it in its current state. But the main point that I'm stressing, and the reason it's still marked as work in progress, is because we don't have all the rules elements in place by any means. We're going to be working on that in the coming weeks. Then we also have a deities listing that is going to be coming soon. I think we have gotten all of the data entered now for deities. This is important because the reason that we're introducing a deities listing soon here is because now we've gotten to a point where we needed to enter deities for clerics to be able to choose their deity when they are creating a cleric character in the character builder. And so, again, all of these pieces are related. We've done this in a stair-step way intentionally. And as we start getting things in there for clerics to be able to choose their deities in the character builder, then we will also get the benefit of this really robust deities listing. And so you should be seeing that before too much longer as well. All right, let's do a giveaway. Lost Omens bundle. Again, this is incredible content. Good luck if you don't have this one. I hope you win. And let's jump into upcoming. So on the closed alpha road to open beta, this roadmap that we have here, again, mobile and tablet views are in progress. I should technically, remove that at some point because it's on the work in progress thing. I'm really curious here. Like, I'm going to update that, and ooh, you saw me update it. Look at that. Ooh, very cool. All right, now I'm going to click out of this where we can get this. Oh yeah, see. The wonders of technology. We're working on new book coverage. So what that means is currently in the alpha, you're primarily going to have core rulebook and advanced players guide things. The good news is we've covered a lot of ground on all the other books. And before too much longer into the alpha, we've kind of kept things simple in the alpha, just where we can minimize the variables, but we will start adding more of that content in before we close out the alpha here. And then you see the rest of the roadmap for getting ready for open beta here: formulas, currency, companions, familiars, sharing, homebrew, in-sheet homebrew. All of those things are on tap and we'll be tackling soon. We got 5e Nexus early access coming, and that one is coming. I was trying to think about how specific I want to get. We'll have early access here in we'll say a few months. And with that one, it's not too much longer before we will probably be sharing what our launch partners are going to be. So we've got some fantastic independent publishers out there who are going to be working with us in 5e Nexus, and we will be sharing more about who those are going to be initially before too much longer. And then you see that we got High Helm, Rage of Elements coming for Pathfinder. The Player's Guide, we recognize that there is some early access going on out there with the PDF for that. We are actually working to get the files on that and trying to get those as quickly as we can, where we can try to get that up. The moment that we get files, we're going to tackle that with very high priority and do everything we can to make that one available ASAP. And then you see what we've got left to catch up on Alien. All right, taking a breath there. Tonight, we have a new episode of Children of Airtay. This one is, I'll transparently tell you, pre-recorded because we had some pretty wacky schedules for everybody in the cast, for a couple of weeks there. And so we actually played this one not yesterday, but last Monday. So we played 2 back-to-back. This is the second part of that back-to-back. And, a lot of times I sit here and tell you, like, hey, I'm sure it's going to be a great episode. Come and watch it. But actually, I've already lived this, and it is a really good episode. And so you should come watch it. And if you're not caught up on Children of Airtay, we are trying to think through some ways that we can get you up to speed where you can jump in. Because, honestly, a lot of it is less about, being able to watch all the hours. I think we've had, 40 episodes, somewhere around there, instead of, having to catch up on 80 hours of watching, which actually 80 hours across 40 episodes isn't as much as 4-hour shows out there. So you can look at it like that, but there is a way. We're looking for some ways to kind of catch you up, because a lot of it is genuinely being able to experience it live in that moment. So as long as you can catch up on the plot, then it is something that you can jump into. And so we'll have more details about that pretty soon. All right. And questions and answers, time for those. So if you have those questions, I see several have already come in. Feel free to ask away, and I will get to as many as I I've got a theater that I'm in this wonderful location. It's one of the reasons that I haven't moved. But I'm in this wonderful location where I'm like in this pocket of a neighborhood, but and so we have no through traffic. It's quiet where I am. It's such a wonderful place to be, but I'm still 2 minutes from a Target. Like Target is like really close, so it's like, and there's a movie theater about 2 or 3 minutes from my house. And so I attend a lot of movies. And back when advanced tickets were going on sale for the D&D movie, just like with many films, because I did this with John Wick last week, I did this with I'm trying to remember what was before John Wick, but I'm going to movies all the time, and so they had the advanced showing, like the sneak preview of D&D, actually for this coming Thursday, because it's the day before the technical release date. And then all of a sudden I'm looking at some news site, Google or something, and I see sneak preview for D&D movie, and it was like two weekends ago. And so then I'm like, well, I'm gonna go to that, and I go and look at it, and it was at 2 p.m. and I'm looking at it at about 3 o'clock. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me! Like, how did I not know about this? Like, I'm an Amazon Prime member too. Come on, like, what gives? Like, I am your target audience. Like, why do I not know about this sneak preview? So I was very upset about it. And then I saw that there was another sneak preview this last weekend, but I didn't know about it. And so I don't know if it's because social, media networks are completely imploding right now or whatever else. But I did not get the message that there were not one, but two early things that were happening here. Very, very upsetting. But anyway, I'm seeing it in a couple of days. And so I will be happy to share my thoughts with anybody after that. Lucky Charm Court, y'all okay from the storms? Yeah, everything is perfectly fine here. So Huntsville, Alabama, we definitely get our share of tornadic activity. And sometimes that is a very destructive thing, but everything's a-okay here. And I was having a conversation with a friend in LA, you know, a week ago probably, and talking about the tornado that was spotted in LA, and just how everyone was, completely freaking out about a tornado in LA. And of course, for me, I was like, yeah, we have tornadoes all the time. Like, it's a little bit, it's hard to get too worked up about a tornado. But then, I started thinking, I was like, but I guess if we started having earthquakes just out of the blue, like, that would probably concern me greatly, just like the tornado probably concerned people in LA. But yeah, everything completely all right for my end and everything going on here. Calexis 1986, is the Pathfinder Beginner Box likely to be making its way to Nexus? The answer to that is yes. Now, how that will make it, because ultimately the rules booklet that is available in the beginner box probably isn't going to make it in its form the way that it comes there, because we kind of already have the Pathfinder primer that is going to be covering the same kind of ground, but we are going to get the adventure content up on Pathfinder Nexus, for sure. It's just a matter of when we can fit it into the schedule. But I can tell you that we had a recent conversation where I have asked to prioritize that, and so hopefully it will be there before too much longer, and we'll provide an update when we have them. UK Haiku, are you a digital or analog note taker? What are your favorite tools? I've got to kind of preempt the question a little bit and say that I'm not a note taker at all. And honestly, I can't remember. I'm trying to remember the last time that I took notes. I guess I do technically take notes that end up just becoming reminders for me. So I definitely do not take notes that are explaining something. I will take a note that I have something that I need to bring up during a meeting that I'm going to have this afternoon, and so I use a lot of Slack, and so I go to Slack and I type 1 to 3 words about whatever that is that I need to bring up in the meeting, and then I will set that reminder to hit, just as the meeting is starting. So that is about the extent of my note taking. But having said that, I through school and everything else, one of those irritating people that typically can kind of hear or see something, and for the most part, I'm going to remember it. So notes typically tend to distract me more than me just really focusing in and listening and seeing the thing as it's happening. When I have tried to take notes in the past, and be really disciplined with that, I end up potentially getting more distracted than if I was just listening to it, internalizing whatever is being discussed in that way. And so yeah, that's not it. But very again, when we're talking analog or digital, it is definitely big fan of Slack, and the way that reminders work, and all of those kind of things. Definitely use those kinds of tools for the little bit that I do. AKA Kira, will divine font be its own tab under spells like cantrips and other spells? That is a really good question, and I think I've got to give two answers here. I think eventually the answer is definitely yes. Like I absolutely think that we will get to the point where that bottom section of the character sheet will have very class specific tabs that are showing up down there. I think initially, I can't remember exactly what because we talk about a lot of different classes and a lot of different features, but I can't remember exactly in the short term what the solution is going to be there. But I don't think it's going to be its own tab yet. But again, in the future, there's no question that would end up being the case. Artemis Thent, which ancestry, heritage, or class would you love to see in Pathfinder 2e? Love to see that I assume is not there now. We are already covering so much ground in Pathfinder 2e. My answer for class absolutely would have been kineticist until they announced Rage of Elements, because I was a big kineticist fan, and I was very happy to see that happen. Yeah, I don't know. I would have to give that one a little bit more thought. This is an example of something where I probably won't take a note about this question, but I will remember this randomly tomorrow at some point, and then I will, hopefully come back, next week and lead off the show with what I think this is, because I think what I would do to answer this question is I would probably need to go back to first edition Pathfinder and see if there was anything that any character that I played there that is not currently into E. And as I'm thinking about that, see, I don't even think about it in those terms often, because if that is the case, then I would probably just homebrew it like so hand wavy, or whatever, that I don't even think about it, that it's missing. But that's probably how I'd tackle the question. But like I said, I can definitely say big kineticist fan, and until we got the Rage of Elements announcement, that would have been that answer pretty easily. Trixie Belle Dubois, what's your preferred dice weight on the scale of metal, stone, resin, plastic, wood, digital? That's a great question. And I think that I am definitely a big fan of wood when I have used wood in the past. And then I would say that it's probably got to go resin from there. I love the look of metal dice and even stone dice, love the look. And I have many sets that are display sets that I never use. But I do not like how they clunk and how they scar up my furniture and my dice boxes, and all of that stuff. So I would definitely say resin, and I probably like resin more than plastic, because plastic don't feel like they have enough weight. So probably resin there. All right, looks like we've got one more, and we are going to be right on time. It looks like UK Haiku. How many regular TTRPG games are you involved in as a player or a GM? So I don't know exactly what you mean by regular, because and I might make the surface level assumption that you mean that are not streamed, maybe not part of play testing for work, that kind of thing. That's where I'll maybe draw the line. And so I think one thing that I'll say there is that even with Children of Airtay, there is definitely a difference and the way that those kinds of games feel over what we might call a home game. But I will say that as far as playing in that goes, it is an incredibly enjoyable thing to me that doesn't feel like a performance. And so, I guess what I'm trying to clarify there is there's a lot of fondness for every time that session time comes around every week, and I am as excited about that as I typically am any of the other games that I'm playing. So definitely, playing in that one, on a weekly basis there. And then really at this stage, I don't have an ongoing campaign going for any of the other games that I play. Now, that is not necessarily because I am too busy with playing other things or streamed games or anything else. It's actually more, this is a trend that started before I even started working in this industry. Maybe as I started getting older, having family responsibilities and everything else, everything was starting to trend more like 1 or 3 shots for me, where we would get together and play something once, and there was no expectation for that to be an ongoing campaign. And honestly, the data shows and everything else out there that is the way that a lot of people have started playing these games, which I think is something important for people working in the industry to recognize and be able to maybe support that kind of experience. And so for me, I don't have any at the moment ongoing campaigns going on. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, I am probably going to run a Pathfinder adventure path here in the next month or so, and that might be probably will be Gatewalkers. But other than that, that's going to be running that through for a few months, and we will close that out. I have not had that experience of playing a 5-year long campaign, with the crew for several years, and I think that's one of the ways that the hobby is evolving. And I'm not saying that no one out there is doing that, and if you are doing that, I love it, and I've had some of the fondest gaming memories I've ever had have been in games like that, in those huge ongoing campaigns. But as it stands right now, I am playing Forbidden Lands a good bit, but again, it's in a little bit more of an ad hoc, one-off nature. I am definitely playing some Alien. I'm going to be at the Huntsville Pop Culture Expo here next month, April. Running a couple of sessions for that at that convention. So I think if you're around the Huntsville area and you want to sign up for that, I think it's up on the website. You can go try to grab a spot in those couple of sessions that I'm doing. But I do play Alien with friends and family as well, because it is a very ideally suited one-shot game. Like it works incredibly well for that. And so I love doing that. I have been playing several standalone adventures for Pathfinder, and I have run several of those lately. I have played recently. I have played Star Trek Adventures with Modifius. A big fan of that game. And I have played probably in the last 3 months, 3 other 1 or 3 shots, couple of shots things with different 5e characters. So yeah, no home base for a campaign at the moment. But who knows what the future holds. I did come out of one of those that ended about 7 months ago, where we did play for probably 18 to 20 months. And we kind of went from 10th level to 20th level, and that was in 5th edition. All right. One more question and then we'll go. Anchor 89. Does Demiplane have a convention schedule for the season? We do not have anything that we have publicly shared yet. And a big reason for that is, we are trying to still we're in this mode of we're waiting for the other foot to fall a little bit on character tools and everything else to figure out exactly where the product is going to be and our platform is going to be before we make all of those decisions. And then we're also working with our various publishing partners to figure out exactly what they're doing. But I can tell you that we have some big plans for the back half of the year when it comes to conventions. And so before too much longer, we will have more to share on that. I can tell you without really any doubt that we are going to be at Gen Con, and there's some cool things happening at Gen Con. So you can definitely think about that one. But there will be some others in the back half of the year. Not as much here in the first part of the year. We will have some members of our team attending, kind of on a smaller scale, a less formal scale. But in the back half of the year, we will have kind of our first formal participation in some conventions, and we'll share more as we get there. All right, that's all the time we have for today. Much appreciated, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Join us again tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific for Children of Airtay. We've got a new episode. And also keep an eye out for midnight Pacific tonight when we release the finale of Gatewalkers. And we've got Lost Omens Firebrands, some great content coming your way for Pathfinder Nexus. Appreciate it. Later, Gators.